Hey guys, RockingTheBlade here. Once again, what is up, everybody? Today we're gonna do a episode of the RTV podcast. I know I'm late for this news because so much things happen UFC wise in terms of news. So many crazy things happen. Woo! It's a lot to cover, so we're gonna get to all of it today. And before we get to all the big UFC news and whatnot, and me breaking down the fights that happens in UFC 200, there's something I want to address first that happened at a UFC Fan Expo. I'm pretty sure you guys heard of the. I was having a paper, by the way. I'm pretty sure you guys heard of the fighter Donald the Cowboy Cerrone. I saw him fought live a couple of times, one in the amateurs and one when he fought for the championship the last time, even though he lost. And I was there live at both times, and for the last fight, he lost very badly. Like, he didn't even fucking belong. And it was the same fight card that had Desanios and Overeem. And so I want you to keep this in mind before I tell you what he said. You know, Fight Expo, I've been to at least 2 or 3 of them, about 3 of them actually, and they're just real nice. And little kids tend to be there, playing the video games. Whether it's the UFC, the THQ of UFC, I missed them, by the way. And the EA Sports of UFC, they're playing it, show off the game and stuff and whatnot. Excuse me. So, and keep in mind, these expos have Q&As. We get to talk, ask questions about your fighters. And even though it's far away, and that's far away from where the Q&A is at, there's like speakers to where you can hear what they're saying. Even if you're far away, you can still hear them. So, now I want to tell you what he said. So a fan asked him first. Well, let me tell you, a fan asked him. This is I think after the UFC 200 card. A fan asked Donald. So Donald, what you thought about Daniel Cormier's performance against Anderson Silva in the UFC 200 fight? And you know what he said? Keep in mind, he's representing a company. There's kids around, and there's speakers to where even people far away can hear him. He said, and I quote, "Daniel Cormier fought like a faggot." End quote. So, I was really taken aback by that. I was really, really taken aback by that. This is a guy who's supposed to be a professional saying the most unprofessional thing you could possibly ever say in a public forum like that. It wasn't like a thing where, someone hacked his Facebook or Twitter and made him say that, or, it was some secret information. He was, telling a person via in his house, and they got it in the privacy of his own home, and someone recorded it and leaked it. No, he said it straight out in a public forum without thinking, and said what he said. Considering the fact that not even that long ago, about I think exactly a little over a month ago, the Orlando shootings at the Pulse nightclub happened. It's still a little over a month. It's still fresh. That wound is still fresh and wide open. And for him to say something like that is just downright disrespectful and very insensitive at the end of the day, and very unprofessional. Not while we're at it, because you are a representative of UFC, and the LGBT community will not like that at all. In fact, it's probably going to turn people away. Probably going to think that, if you think like that, maybe they all think like that, which isn't the case. But a new person coming into that, they see that, they're not going to like that. That's no better than him saying he fought like an N-word, he fought like the or other racial slurs, which I'm not even going to say here. But you get my point. He said the worst thing you could possibly say. Look, I understand you don't like someone's performance. I've seen some shitty fights at UFC. There's more good fights than bad ones, but the bad ones do happen. That's with everything. There's always the good and the bad. But there's a better way of saying it. Like, for example, if I was Donald Cowboy Cerrone, what I would have said was, look, I wasn't a big fan of Daniel Cormier's, how he fought. Granted, I know, he was fighting Anderson to Spider Silva. I felt that he should have fought more, more aggressive, in the hands. But at the same time, I should understand, considering the fact that, he was scheduled to fight Jones. Jones took some illegal substances. Thus, him being removed from the card, have to fight another opponent on 2 days' notice. It's a mental thing. So, he had to motivate himself to get to that fight, for so should he fought more aggressive? Sure, but at the same time, it's understandable considering the circumstances. So, I mean, like something like that. I didn't like it, but I understand. Something like that, you know, like, you know, he didn't like the fight, but to be more understanding, because that would happen. He was supposed to fight John Jones. John Jones took some illegal substances, and luckily Anderson Silva stepped in, but at 2 days' notice. So it was a lot to process, and it's just so much to take in. It's a lot to take in. And for him to say that, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, if you're somehow watching this, I'm angry with you and very disappointed that what you said was downright disrespectful and insensitive, considering, you know, what happened in Orlando, in my hometown. What just happened, and for you to say that, you know, so there's so many better ways of saying it, dude. That was not one of them. That was a terrible thing to say, and hopefully, I hope UFC. I'm not sure he will be fired, but I hope they at least fine him. You know, at least $10,000-$20,000, because let me tell you something. Because an NBA player, when they're going to press conference, God forbid, let's say, you know, Kobe Bryant's still playing, and they take on, and the Lakers. It was the Lakers versus the Cavaliers, and the Lakers just blew out the Cavs, right? Just hypothetically, and you know, and LeBron had a bad night, and they asked Kobe Bryant, so Kobe, how you felt how LeBron played? And if Kobe Bryant would have said he played like a faggot, that's why we kicked their ass. Oh my God, the fines he would get. The fines he would get would be unbelievable. The LGBT community will be rightfully upset. He'll have to pay fines up the ass, go on a public apology tour, because you don't say shit like that. You just don't. So in my opinion, he needs to pay a fine, because representing the country, cut some money out of his purse, and apologize to the LGBT community, considering what just happened not that long ago. So Donald Cowboy Cerrone, you need to man up, admit what you said was wrong. Granted, if you don't like Cormier, that's fine. If you didn't like how he fought in the card, that's fine. But when you say shit like that, especially when you're representing your company and yourself, and forget the company for a moment, or the expo, or the fact that it's kids there, you know, just keep in mind, you know, that's disrespectful. I'll be upset if I had a kid, if I had a kid with me to go there for him to hear that. But let's forget all that for a minute. Just for 1 second. You're representing yourself. Is that how you want to be remembered like that? You know, you're representing yourself. Is that how you want to be remembered? Because I sure as hell don't want to be remembered like that. Do you? Said, yeah, Donald Cerrone, if you want an apology, you know, pay a fine. You know, if you don't want to fine him, donate to the LGBT community funds. And apologize. You know, to them. I'm not saying to Cormier. You know, you should. Cause damn. You know, you don't say shit like that. But ultimately, at least, you know, pay a fine or donate to the LGBT community and apologize to them, because that was downright disrespectful and unprofessional. And you know better. You're a grown ass man. You should fucking know better. I shouldn't have to sit here and tell you this shit. Whew. Alright, I had to get that out of my chest, because man, that just really grind my gears. You know, considering what just happened, and for him to say that, really, oh yeah, that's really smart. Said nobody ever. Damn, I swear, people fucking stupid sometimes. You wonder how they get dressed in the morning. Seriously. All right, now let's talk. I'm gonna break down UFC 200, fight by fight. I'm not gonna go into long detail. I'm just summarize what each fight happened. All right, let's talk about the Cain Velasquez and Travis Browne fight. Which, oh, by the way, this fight took place in the new T-Mobile Arena. Oh, and obviously, I'm going to talk about the UFC 200 fight that happened and give my thoughts on the matter. And I heard, like, on one of the radio shows on ESPN, that it was so packed and it was so crowded in Vegas that you couldn't find a hotel. And then when I forgot his name, when the host was talking about it, when he was going to fly back to his home, everyone was like, at least 90% of the people that were on that flight were wearing UFC 200 t-shirts. You know, want to see that fight live. So the whole world was there. So, yeah, Cain Velasquez and Travis Browne. Cain Velasquez was you know, very touch and go in first. You know, because they both respect each other's power. But then Cain Velasquez got him a good hook. Travis was hurt, and Cain was on him like white on rice, and then knocked his ass out in the first round. I'm gonna be honest with you. Cain Velasquez maybe have an injury-prone problem, but when Cain Velasquez is healthy, he's a dangerous man. That man is not to be fucked with. He is not. When he is healthy and he's 100% ready to go, your ass is grass, as they say. He did an incredible job. He got the knockout. And kudos to him, man. That was a great fight. Next one we'll talk about is Dos Anjos and Frankie Edgar. Kudos to Jose. Not Dos Anjos. What I'm saying. Jose Aldo. Excuse me. Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar for the welterweight championship. Yeah, I believe. Yeah. Or for the featherweight championship. Excuse me. Yeah, Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar. Good thing I wrote this down. Kudos to Jose Aldo because this guy went from getting knocked out by Conor McGregor to having an amazing performance against Frankie Edgar. And Frankie Edgar was on one hell of a streak, knocking guys out, beating up like nobody's business. And for him to out-jab him, out-wrestle him, and just out-strike him in every fashion was simply amazing. You know, he outstruck him. You know, he stuffed every takedown. Jose Aldo showed and proved that he still got he still has the goods to be champion and to still be and compete in the UFC. Frankie Edgar, he tried. I mean, Lord knows that's why he tried, but Jose Aldo was just too fast for him. And that's the name of the game. And of course, he won by unanimous decision. And of course, the next fight, the one was supposed to be originally the main event, John Jones and Daniel Cormier, ended up being Daniel Cormier versus Anderson the Spider Silva. How the fight was pretty much, I mean, Silva was winning the stand-up, obviously, because Silva was great when it comes to stand-up. So Daniel Cormier took him down and is trying to ground and pound him out. I would grade Daniel Cormier because he was doing what he. I mean, hell, if I was a wrestler, I would have done the same thing. So I'm not really mad at Daniel Cormier. I'm more mad at Big John McCarthy because if there's no action, was just times where Silva was holding in a position to where he couldn't advance his position to hurt him more. I felt that Big John McCarthy should have stood him up ultimately because there was a lot of inactivity at points. So I felt, in my opinion, that they should have stood them up. At least wait 30 seconds. If nothing happened in 30 seconds, and stand them up. Because there might be times where, Cormier will stop doing stuff here and there, but Silva will have a good defense to hold them down. So ultimately, folks shouldn't get mad at Daniel Cormier because what he did was smart. Ultimately, I would have got more mad at Big John McCarthy because it's up to him for those fighters to stand up ultimately. So, excuse me. So, excuse me. Oof. I'm really fucked up, guys. Sorry. So then, yeah. It went on like that for another 2 rounds, for the next 3 rounds. But luckily, but towards the 3rd round, it's a good thing it was towards the end of the fight, Anderson Silva hit him with a liver shot, and he got hurt. You can see, Cormier was trying to, hide that pain, but eventually, his face cringed, it hurt, and Anderson Silva was swarming on him. But luckily, the horn rang and stuff, so he was saved by the bell, in my opinion. Daniel Cormier won by unanimous decision. Even though people were booing him, he should give him the dude should give him more respect. Look, I'm not a Daniel Cormier fan yet, but considering what just happened and how he handled himself, I now have respect for the dude. And you guys should respect him because what he did was ultimately very smart. He fought smart. You know what I'm saying? He fought very, very smart. And kudos to Daniel Cormier. Congratulations on the win. And Silva, stock doesn't go down, in my opinion, because he took this fight in 2 days' notice. And the fact that he even got an active fighter hurt like that proves that he still has the goods. So I think Anderson Silva is far from being done. And kudos to Anderson Silva for stepping up and taking this fight on such short notice. Hell, originally he was supposed to be I think he bought tickets to be in that fight with his family. But when you heard what happened, I think it was at an expo, and you heard what happened, he went to then it was like, hey, I'll take John Jones' place. So thank you, Anderson Silva. You're now more of a fan. I'm more of a fan of you now more than ever. Thank you so much for stepping up and doing what you did. And Daniel Cormier, man, I have nothing for respect for you, man. You smart fought. You fought smartly, and if I was in your corner, I would have told you to do the same thing. So I don't know how people were upset because how people could be hypocrites Just check this shit out. Because the Brock Lesnar Mark Hunt fight, in the beginning, yeah, it was a little bit slow. You know, Brock Lesnar respects Mark Hunt's power, but Mark Hunt respects Brock Lesnar's power. So it was a big stalemate after a while. You know, back and forth. You know, it was a big stalemate. But then, you know, Brock Lesnar managed to get him down. He was, you know, punching him. And he managed to take down all 3 times. And he was just punch. Do the same thing with Daniel Cormier did. Granted, I felt Brock Lesnar advanced his position better and got more shots because afterwards Marco was pretty busted. But he was basically doing the same thing, and people were eating that shit up like Doritos, man, or Cheetos, whatever chip you prefer. He was eating it up. People were eating it up. But yeah, Cormier was practically doing the same thing, maybe a little bit less action, but he was doing the same thing, wrestling, holding him down and trying to punch him out. And people were bullying him. Yet when Brock did it, you know, but when Brock did it, they were loving that shit. So it's like, it blows my mind. So when you get what I'm saying, you hate it when, you know, people try to bash on something you like, but then when their product does the same thing, you know what I'm saying, they play a blind eye to it. God, I hate that shit. I mean, I don't want to mention what it is because I don't want people to read in the comments. But you get my point. I hate that crap. When, you know, when one person does the same thing as the other person gets shit and the other one gets praised. That makes no sense to me at all. But overall, yeah, I think Daniel Cormier won. Yeah, Daniel Cormier won by unanimous decision. I don't believe I mentioned that, but yeah, he won by unanimous decision. Same thing with Brock Lesnar fight. He won by unanimous decision. So, but now, the best fight on the main card, in my opinion, besides Cain Velasquez and Travis Brown, was Emmanuel Nunes versus Miesha Tate. Holy shit! At first, like all fights, it was very methodical, very slow pace. By the second time, all of a sudden, Emmanuel Nunes had landed that one good shot, and Miesha Tate was hurt, and you could see it. She was slowly chipping, like hitting her with those jabs, slowly chipping her away, and then you can see Nunes. Excuse me, I apologize. And you can see Emmanuel Nunes was just like pouring it on her, and you can tell Miesha Tate was getting hurt because she was getting bloody. And at one point, she made a face like with Daniel Cormier that she was hurt. And Emmanuel Nunes was all over Miesha Tate like a shark seeing blood in the water. Like he was all over her. I mean, pounding on her. Miesha Tate tried over a takedown. She ducked down to stuff it. She was like ready for it, and she just pounded her out, and then dropped her, got on her back, and choked her out. And the ironic thing was, it was the same maneuver that Miesha Tate to beat Holly Holmes. So it's so ironic she lost to the same submission move. Ain't that some shit? And we have a new UFC women's bantamweight champion. That's Emmanuel Nunes. First of all, Emmanuel, congratulations. Girl, you earned that shit, man. You earned that shit. And people might agree with me when I say this, but that was the female version of Anderson Silva and Chris Lehman. It was that precise. Her shots were accurate, deadly, and precise. She was a monster. She's a monster. She's a beast. And the bantamweight division better look out because there's a new sheriff in town, and that girl's name is Emmanuel Nunes. Oh, and fun fact, history was made. She was the first Brazilian woman to be champion. So history was even made on that day as well. So kudos to Emmanuel Nunes. Again, you earned it, girl. That's why I call it some real girl power. That's one girl, man, I wouldn't fuck with because she has deadly hands and deadly accuracy. When you have strength and you're accurate with that shit, you are forced to be reckoned with. And kudos to her. And because she won by first round knockout, mind you. First round knockout. And that was the whole fight card. I think I mentioned Cain Velasquez Travis Brown also ended in the first round. Let's get in and verify that. But that was it. That was the whole fight card overall. It was fantastic. I hope you guys saw it. It was great. Totally worth the money. It was a great card. And honestly, I wish that was there live. That's how good it was. Yeah, I wish I was there live. It was that damn good. All right, guys. The final topic for the RTV podcast. Which I think I stressed before that. I think it stressed this is a podcast. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Ignore me. So, the last news, which is the biggest news that broke, I think not that long ago, that Zuffa sold UFC to WME/IMG, an American talent agency company. So yeah, I guess they proved me wrong, because I thought, for a while UFC was like, no, we're not gonna sell it. Zuffa's like, we're not gonna sell it. We're not gonna sell it. We're not gonna sell it. All of a sudden, bam! They sold the UFC. They sold the UFC for $4 billion. $4 billion. And keep this in mind, guys. That's a lot of money. They bought the UFC back when it wasn't that popular. Back when it first was up for sale for only $2 million. Only $2 million. And they turned that company around and got $4 billion out of it. Holy shit, man. That is amazing. Granted, it took, I think, about between 14 and 15 years. But holy shit, that's amazing, man. That is amazing. I mean, it shows you what you can do in America. That's why this country is so damn great. It's not perfect, but damn. To do something like that, that is truly, truly amazing. Truly amazing. So now, I bet you're wondering at some questions. So what's going to happen to Joe Silva, the matchmaker? What was going to do the Fertitta brothers? All right. I got some update on that. So here's how this is going to work. Even though the Zuffa brothers, the Fertitta brothers sold Zuffa to that company I just mentioned, but they still have stock in the company, so they're minority owners, but they're not the main head owners anymore. They're just the minority owners. So that's number one. So they still will be with the UFC. They'll probably have less of a role, but they'll still be with it. And secondly, Dana White will still be the president of that company, because love or hate him, he knows how to promote good fights and get fights going and done, because that man is a genius. He's not perfect. He can be a hypocrite sometimes. I'll say that. But when it comes to fight promoting, he's at the best at his job. And I can't see really no one else taking his job, because he is the best. He is the best at what he does. He is really, really, really good. So I'm glad to see that that company saw that and was like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna keep you. That was a smart decision. Kind of like how when WB bought Mortal Kombat, instead of fighting the Mortal Kombat team, they're like, you know what? Even though we're owning Mortal Kombat, we're buying the team too, as well, so that Mortal Kombat can still stay great. And that was a smart thing from WB to do. Even though they fucking borked the PC port of Mortal Kombat X, but that's another story for another time. You're right. That's another story for another time. So there's that. And I'm sorry for you PC owners of Mortal Kombat X. Yeesh. You guys got fucked over, and that's not fair, considering that how PC was the first gaming platform, but one of the first big ones. But hell, it is what it is, and I'm sorry, guys. Just don't buy WB games on PC. Anyway, getting off topic. Point being, this is good because they can have the UFC be on multiple networks. It could be on ESPN, ABC, NBC, all that good shit, because they have their head in everything. And the good thing about it, also, at the end of the day, it's crazy how back in the day where you couldn't even buy this on cable, you could only get it on satellite, and no one was hardly playing. No one was hardly any of the states would even allow the sport. It wasn't until recently where New York finally made that shit legal. I mean, fucking finally made this shit legal. Finally. I mean, and there's a video on when of them voting on it and their reasons why they vote yay or nay. And oh my god, how backwards and behind they are in the product is unbelievable. You guys, I can't even describe how bad it is. Just watch the video for yourself. You'll be amazed at how people don't properly prep themselves to be up to date on the product that's out now, because they're still thinking. Well, they give some of it away. They still think they still think it's like how it is back in the day. They don't know that it's improved. It has rules now, and haven't checked on it recently. It's updated and gotten better. They still think it's like how it was back in the day, where where there was eye gouging and kicks to the crotch and all that shit. Now it's more organized and more of a clean sport. But they're so ignorant they thought how it was back in the day. I mean, that's how bad it was. Like I said, check out the video for yourself. It is so amazing how ignorant they were. and also got the smarter people prevailed and showed that and prevailed and realized that this sport is much more safer than boxing, and a sport that can help make New York profit for the city. Because UFC makes millions of dollars, if not billions, for the city every time they're there, and New York needs that money. Trust me, they do. So I'm glad they finally wisely realized that this is a smart decision, not a bad one. But so anyway, and so as far as Joe Silva goes, getting back on top, I didn't leave topic. I'm sorry, but as far as Joe Silva goes, I don't know his fate. I'm not sure if he's still be the matchmaker. I hope he is, because I do is an incredible matchmaker, probably one of the best. In fact, I feel, in my opinion, and hopefully you guys agree with me on this, that there should be a documentary on like how he, gets the fight set up, what makes him decide who should fight who and who should fight what, because he's a great, he's great at his job at what he does ultimately, and hopefully he has a role in this new organization, because he is, like Dana White, is incredible at his job, and hopefully they hire him, because he'd be wasted if they don't hire him, in my opinion. So but from what I'm hearing, it's a good deal. So we have multiple networks, and UFC fighters are gonna be paid more and get more advertising, more more revenue, and more products to promote themselves. And overall, it's just a better deal it's gonna make UFC bigger, badder, and better. You know what I'm saying? And I love it. I love it. And this kind of shit is killing boxing, because I hate to rain on boxing's parade. I really, really do. And don't get me wrong, again, I love boxing. I really do. But if they want to compete with UFC, these are the things they need to do. They need to be. They can't let these fight agents take over like they used to. Because now, look at it now. It's a barren wasteland. There's no superstars anymore. The so-called last star, Floyd Mayweather, retired. So, but there's rumors that Manny Pacquiao might come back. But then again, he can't fight forever. He can't. Eventually, he wants to move on with his life, and I don't blame him. So, that's my opinion on it, guys. It's a sad but true fact that boxing, they want to even compete, needs to do what UFC is doing. Otherwise, there's going to be that a forgotten sport. You know what I'm saying? I know, and even baseball is even suffering a bit. Not as bad as boxing, mind you, because it's still getting promoted. But still, it's not too far. It's not too far behind either. So hopefully they get more deals and more things to do. Hopefully improve the sport, so that way you can get more people to see it. I know people will disagree with me, but the facts are there if you want to look for it. It's there. So, again, I love baseball too. But you got to cause you see it. For every one baseball commercial I see, which I do see them, there's 5 or 6 basketball or football commercials. Hell, I see even more UFC commercials with the T-Mobile, them, with Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor, Anthony Pettis doing T-Mobile commercials of them promoting UFC, EA Sports UFC 2 UFC game, which I did the first impressions on. If you want to check that out after this video, of course. So they're more out there, where boxing is just like, honestly, when's the last time you've seen a boxing commercial? Honestly, I haven't seen it in a long while. Unless you have HBO or Showtime, yeah, but on regular TV, I haven't seen it at all. So, man, it's crazy how I me and my brothers, started watching this thing ever since UFC 57. It got my interest at UFC 57. You know what I'm saying? Because wrestling was getting ridiculous and boxing was being boxing. So we got I think in the mail to check out UFC 57. And I didn't see the whole card. I saw the main event, but the main event was amazing. And I asked my older brother, how it was. He said the whole card was great, including this main event, of course. So I saw the next one, which would make me a fan forever. UFC 58, USA versus Canada. Rich Franklin versus The Crow was amazing. Of course, the best fight in that card, George St. Pierre versus BJ Penn. That was the best fight in that card, and that's what made me, the way they fought their hearts out, made me a fan. And I've been watching it ever since. So it's glad to see that they keep getting better and better and more popular, And kudos to UFC, man. And kudos to Zuffa to selling it to a company that's going to take care of it and make it bigger, better, and better. Because UFC is a great sport. and I would have great fighters, and I hope for the best for that organization. All right, guys, that's it for the episode of the RTV podcast. I covered everything: the UFC fall from the UFC 200 fights, and the UFC being sold, and Donald Cowboy Cerrone saying some very controversial shit at the UFC Expo. Which, seriously, dude, you need to apologize and pay some money, because what you're representing the company, what you did was very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. Alright, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the videos. Please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for supporting my channel, guys. As always, this is RockingTheBlade signing out. Hope to see you guys again real soon, guys, man. Oh yeah, and the next UFC event, which I believe is tomorrow, Wednesday, will be the first UFC event under this new organization. So you should be there to check it out, because I will. Alright, guys. Peace out.